What's going on? What's going on? I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. Hope all is well. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate your support. This particular episode in the title, this is Nap's Corner 163, episode 163. And the title is Green Will Never Be Red. Green will never be red. There's a lot of different things that I've seen in my lifetime. And the older that I get, the more that I wonder and I ponder a lot of different things that's going on. But boy, I tell you, when it comes to factual information, and I talk about this quite a bit for a very specific reason, right? So the facts will always be facts, right? Perspectives and facts are extremely different things. So in retrospect, a horse will always be a horse. That's a fact. It can't be anything else. It can't change that fact. A horse will always be a horse. Just like I said, green will never be red. There is a lot of different things that's happening, and it's seemingly happening every single day. Something changes in the way that we have to deal with factual information and how things seem to change. No matter what it is, if a glass of water is on the table and it's a glass of water, very clear, a glass of water, that glass of water is not all of a sudden going to turn into orange soda, right? No matter what you want to make it, no matter what you want to change it into, it's a glass of water. It's not going to become soda. It's not. Okay. I had this discussion a few days ago. And it hit me kind of odd. And that's one of the reasons why I said, you know what? I want to make this a topic on Napoleon's Corner. The thing about me, so usually this is an inspirational channel. This is an uplifting channel. This is a point-to-point factual, when we talk about certain topics of discussion, usually it's some topics that maybe somebody else thought about, or maybe they're thinking about, or I've experienced something that I want to share on Napoleon's Corner, and hopefully you gain, information from it. Hopefully you gain a different perspective from it. Hopefully you gain motivation from it. So that's the premise in the baseline, really, of what Napoleon's Corner really is in a nutshell, right? But every now and again, I'll share bits and pieces of a conversation that will make me think about something to say, you know what, I want to share this with the listeners and in the comments. And thank you so much for commenting on Napoleon's Corners and some of my topics. I appreciate that. I want to share this, and I want your opinion, and I want your comments, right? And I read them all. So thank you. My point of reference with this particular topic is this. We have to be ever so careful with stop allowing things to change, and we know the truth about certain things. We know what they are, but yet and still, you'll have a group of individuals or that will try to strong mind you to think that is something different other than what it truly is. Life already presents a lot of different challenges, and we know this, right? You go through your ups, your downs, your trials, your tribulations, and that's part of life. It's called personal growth. But at the end of the day, we really have to be ever so careful and stop allowing other individuals or other people to manipulate us to believe something that is clearly not true. It's clearly not a fact. Like I said, a perception and a fact are extremely two different things. I can perceive that analogy that I gave earlier. I can perceive that glass of water to be Coke soda, but I clearly see in the glass it's water. I can look at the Coke soda and I can perceive it to be water, but the facts are in that glass, there's Coke soda. It is not water. Now, if I put two on the table, a glass of water and a glass of Coke soda, factually, I do have two items now. I have a glass of water and I have a glass of Coke soda, Coca-Cola soda. Okay, that's cool. But I can't interchange the one if I only got one of them, and make it seem that it's something that it's not. That's what I'm talking about. And it is so important that we truly do understand that. And it's so important that we have to separate the truth from an alternative fact or clearly a lie. I've talked about this before, and the reason why I continue to bring this up is because it affects our young people. It affects people in general, but mostly it's starting to affect our young people. The way that our youth think about things, the way they see things, the way they navigate information, the way they perceive information, the way they download and take in information. If it's not the right information that they're taking in, how do you think that impacts them to make decisions? That's a very important point. If we go out and continue to either be manipulated by what we read, what we see, that's not exactly the truth, it's not factual, and now you're taking this information and you're sharing it with your child, with your children. You're sharing it, if you're a coach and you're taking information in and it's not the right information, and you're sharing it with your players, we're really doing them a disservice. Or we're giving our perspective of something that we really believe, and it may not be the right thing. So the clear thing is, for me, anyone that's in a leadership role, in a leadership position, you can't go and make this thing so personal that even though you know it's wrong, you're going to continue to perpetuate this narrative and create this narrative that's it's self-serving. It's not right, but because you're in a leadership or you're in a position of power, you're going to continue to do this because ultimately it benefits you. That is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. You can't change what the facts are about certain things. Like I said, a horse will always be a horse. You can't change that. Okay? The color green is always going to be the color green. You can't make it red. You can't change that. So when you're in those positions and you are a person of power, or you're sitting in a leadership role, we got to be more cognitive about it and more persistent on the facts are, you know what? I know the truth about certain things. Let me push to just do the right thing. So that's really, in a nutshell, what this is all about as well. Just do the right thing. If you are called to be a leader, then lead in the right manner. If you're called to power, be powerful in the right manner. Do the things that you know is going to be truly beneficial to everybody and not just you. That's important, because here's the deal. The legacy that you want to leave, you want it to be a clean legacy to the best of your ability. You want it to be a legacy of respect. You want it to be a legacy that's built on character. You want it to be a legacy that has a lot of value to it, because if you're no longer here, that's what you want people to talk about. You don't want them to talk about the things that they knew wasn't right, but they did it to appease you because you were in a position of power or a leadership role. That's not cool. And then when you're no longer here, God forbid, now they get to tarnish that legacy because they will then talk about the truths that they knew the whole time. But again, to appease you, they went along with it. They went along with that, everybody clearly saw that was water, but because you kept saying it was Pepsi, they're not going to call you out. But they knew behind your back, and he's tripping. That's water, but okay. Come on. We can't. We can't do that. Time is of the essence. Being forthright and being in a position where you can really impact someone in a productive and positive way, that's what this is all about. It's not about abusing a leadership role or abusing power. Let's make sure that we're very clear about the messages that we send and very clear about how that affects everybody else. It's not just about you. It's not just about me. It's about the collective whole. It's about everybody else as well. So let's keep that in mind when we're going out and we're creating these different narratives. As long as it's factual and it's wrapped around the truth, no one can be upset with you. It's only when you try to manipulate and change things that you know, and you're only changing that for your edification and your benefit, that becomes a problem. Let's lead. We're going to be leaders. Let's lead from a place of character, value, discipline, being the best versions of ourselves, no matter what that may be. Let's lead from that situation, because now we can build more leaders into that than we can the other way around. And that is the legacy that you want to leave. I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. God willing, I'll see you next week. Take care.